Hi there, Simon from SimonWoods.com. I have 7 Sauvignons. I have 4 different countries represented. I did a load of Chileans the other day and thought I've got through them all, but then another one around. So I've got 1 from Chile, I've got 1 from Australia, I've got 2 from South Africa, and I've got 3 from New Zealand, and Marlborough in particular. And I'm starting with one of those. We're 2nd of August today, and this is the first bottled 2011 Marlborough Sauvignon I've seen. Villa Maria private bin, and let's give it a whirl. And you stick your nose in there and you've got the smells for which Marlborough is famous. You've got this juiciness, you've got a grassiness, you've got the citrus, but you've also got something riper as well. It smells like it's not going to be the most complex of wine, but it's going to have lots of that satisfying flavour. Probably a touch off dry to round out acidity, but a bit of a crowd pleaser and none the worse for that. Does exactly what you want it to do. It's got the flavour, it's got the zest. Don't know how much of it I could drink, but chill it down and classic summer day wine, bring out the seafood, perfect. Nice start. And let's see, well, we're going all the rest of 2010, so that we have the 2011 to start with, but 2010 all the way along for the next 6. This one, also in Marlborough, but whereas the Villa Maria weighed in 13% alcohol, I've arranged the rest of them in alcohol orders, and this is low alcohol, well, not too low, but 9.5%. The Doctor's Sauvignon Blanc, a Marlborough, made by Dr. John Forrest from Forrest Estate. And may I also apologise to Bridget Forrest, because I hadn't seen where the apostrophe was. It's after the S, so there are more than one doctors. John's wife, Bridget, is also a doctor. So stick my nose in there. It's funny, this smells zestier and crisper, maybe not as rounded as the Villa Maria. I'm not sure how they've achieved the 9.5% alcohol. Some of it will have been earlier picking. Maybe they've done something in the winery to reduce the alcohol level. So made a wine that weighed in like 12% and then de-alcoholized that. Not sure, but it doesn't smell like it's going to be on the sweet side. It's got a gentle grapiness about it. It doesn't feel like it's maybe got the depth of flavour that you had in the Villa Maria. Certainly in terms of there are quite a few low alcohol wines being made now. This has got quite a bit more flavour than a lot of them. Don't mind it as a wine. Given the choice, I would probably ask for something that's got a little bit more body and flavour. But if it's got a third less alcohol than a standard New Zealand Sauvignon, well, bully for it, and it deserves to do well. It's pretty nice. Okay, first to the South Africans, the Township Winery, Philippi Sauvignon Blanc 2010. Philippi is a physical, geographical, emotional, and green heart of Cape Town. Made with skilled hands and warm hearts. So no grapes, but anyway, let's try it. Now to the exuberance of Marlborough, this is a lot dumber. There's really not much aroma when I stick my nose in there. A bit of that slightly sherbet, citrusy edge, but and maybe a touch of stoniness, mineral character. It doesn't smell like it's going to have exuberance of fruit like the first 2 did. Citrus, green pepper. It's okay. I don't find it charming. I mean, the Marlborough ones have that little bit more puppy, sort of like jump up and do things to your leg type of character. This one's a bit more laid back, not as in your face, but in terms of that in your faceness, I actually sort of miss a little bit of it, and I'd like a little bit more, a little bit more character there. It's okay as a wine, but yeah, maybe lacks a little bit of personality. Let's try the Chilean one, Casa Silva, from Colchagua Valley. Now, Colchagua makes some honking great reds from things like Syrah, Carmenere, Cabernet Sauvignon. But if you get near the coast, it's pretty chilly. What's the place down there? Is it called Padrones, where these guys are? Or oh god, I'm trying to remember what the place where Montes have got their Machiwe. Anyway, something like that. Anyway, you get close to the coast, and it's certainly a lot chillier. And so let's see if the cool climate comes through in this 2010. Actually, it probably isn't from some of those newer vineyards, because I've just had a look at the back and it said from vines that are nearly 100 years old, and which for Sauvignon Blanc must make them some of the oldest Sauvignon vines in the world. Now, Chile had a misidentification problem with Sauvignon Blanc, and quite a lot of what they called Sauvignon Blanc, and still call it, is an inferior grape called Sauvignons, otherwise known as Sauvignon Vert, otherwise known as Friulano, I think. let's give it a whirl. It smells like it's got some of the sappy greenness, and as well as the citrus, it's got more apple and it's got green gauge characters in there as well. It feels like it's not going to be as yapping dog-like as the Marlborough ones, but maybe rounder and it's satisfying in a different way. I like that. It's got strange things like a blackcurrant leaf character, as well as this citrus, and also something like pear. Just ripe nectarine. Not the maybe sappy grassiness of the two Marlborough ones, but a rounder, fuller flavoured. Maybe more in tune with Bordeaux Sauvignon. If this is more in Bordeaux than Marlborough like. But I do like that. Favourite so far, which surprises me. Hey, let's see how we get on with Lewin, which has got a lovely picture of a fish on a bicycle on the label. Lewin Art Series Sauvignon from Margaret River in Western Australia. Well, this also smells rather interesting. It's got weird things like rhubarb and raspberries, rhubarb and raspberries, not things I associate with Sauvignon Blanc. It has got some of the citrus and the ever so slight catty edge, but again, as with the Casa Silva, feels like it's a more rounded, fleshy wine, not trying to shriek as much as the Marlborough ones did, but a bit more confident and laid back, and so one of those things. It's got maybe a bit more presence and gravitas. Yeah, green gauge, rhubarb, it's more that sort of fruit spectrum, like English summer fruits or early summer fruits, rather than the slightly warmer climate citrus flavours. But I do like it because it's got this nice mix of weight and freshness, and it's not trying to assault you. It's trying to just say, keep with me. We'll have a good relationship. I may not shout loudly to start with, but I'll be with you at the end. Fascinating contrast between these two. I mean, sometimes I think of Sauvignon Blanc as being a bit of a mono-dimensional varietal, but we're having quite a lot of variety in the wines that we've got here. Let's see if we continue with variety. Back in Marlborough now. In Vivo, Marlborough 2010, a favourite of no less a personage than Graham Norton. So there you go. So we've gone from 9.5% alcohol with the Forest, then the Township was 12.5, then 13 for the Casa Silva and the Lewin, final two 13.5% alcohol. And yes, we're back into Marlborough weight and power, and yes, quite forward, forceful flavours, and as I say, personally it's not a style that I rush out and drink heaps of, but honest and rich, and can't really fault it. It's what I call a WYSIWYG wine. You almost know exactly what to expect. Bouncy gooseberries, bit of asparagus in there, grassiness, richness, touch of sweetness to round out that citrus and green apple acidity. Forward, friendly, here I am, come and give me a hug. Hey, can't fault it. I don't like it as much as the previous two, but I know some people who prefer it for exactly the same reasons that I don't prefer it. Is one of us right? Is one of us wrong? No, we're both right, and we just have different tastes. Hey, let's see how we get on with the final one. Klein Constantia, 2010. I have a soft spot for the Klein Constantia estate because thanks to its former owners, I think the Just family sold Klein Constantia a few months ago. But when I was there in the few years ago, I was there on the owner's 70th birthday, and his son had bought him some Vin de Constance at auction from 1791. So we had this 210-year-old wine. I got a little bit of the dribble at the end of the bottle. I hadn't been in on the birthday lunch, but ever since then, I'm sure Klein Constantia wines have tasted that little bit better. Not that I let such things influence my critical faculties. Now, should Sauvignon Blanc have a toasty edge? It's weird. I find that there's like a toasty edge here, and they talk in the Loire Valley about Puy-Fumé as having this gunflint type aroma, and I get that type of character here. Something pierre de fusil, as they call it. The smell that you get when you knock two bits of flint together. I get that, but then I also get this lemon pith and those slightly preserved lemons. Some of that, that green lemony pithiness. I know lemons aren't green and limes are green, but I know what I mean. and it's got this what I call a subtle greenness about it. Sometimes I find in South Africa they go for their green pepper flavours in Sauvignon Blanc. This has got just the right amount. It's just a smidge in the background. I don't want a wine that tastes like I'm just chopping up green peppers. I want a wine that's complete and rounded, that I can't really take apart, and that feels that like this is. I'm enjoying it more than I thought. I was expecting something that was on that green, overt, but even more shrieky than the Marlborough wines. So what you've got here is something that is crisp but rounded. It's got a weight of flavour. It's got body. It carries its 13.5% alcohol well, but it's still got this lovely fresh flavour. And we're not all that far from the coast here, so I'd almost swear there was a slight saltiness in there as well. Well, I've really enjoyed these 7 Sauvignons. Sometimes I find Sauvignon, as I've said, a bit boring, but that last quartet of wines there, terrific examples of 4 different styles, all tasty. The weird thing is the Marlborough, the place that's got the name for Sauvignon, probably my least favourite of them, but pretty nice set of wines anyway. See you soon.